Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and we have yet another tips and tricks installment here, this time for Chun-li. In the video, we'll be going over all of her moves as usual, going over some of her more can-openery tools, as in like, mix-up stuff, going over some of her special properties, because she has some unique options a lot of characters don't have, and some other stuff. As always, there'll be timestamps in the video description here on YouTube, so without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, to quickly go over her command normals, first off we have jump forward light kick, which is this guy right here. See how it differs from the regular light kick? So, its main use, as you can see here, just angled a lot higher. It's almost exclusively going to be used for combos, but that high hitbox absolutely helps for those combos. She also has jumping forward fierce kick and jumping forward fierce punch. Forward fierce kick is also a high angled attack, and it's also very good for her loop combos. Forward fierce punch knocks foes a bit further away, so you can still use it like for loop combos, so it's a bit more difficult. And it has the added benefit of knocking foes down that are grounded. Now in this game, Chun-li also has her classic head stomp, down light kick in this game. You can do up to 3 of these in succession. It's really good in that also it's a cross up okay move, so you can hit air dash and hit cross up. You will have to learn a bit of timing. See here, it's a little harder on a standing foe than it is a crouching foe, but you can still hit cross up and get a full combo and go from there. And also, speaking of classic moves, she has a neck breaker. In this game, it's forward and fierce kick. So this move switches sides, so you have to block cross up, and it is also an overhead, so it must be blocked standing. And if it connects, you can get a full combo from it, as you can see there. Now for the iconic lightning legs for special moves here. We have 2 versions here. We have heavy kick and light kick, and they're slightly different. Light kick here does less hits. Heavy kick does more hits. And they both have a follow-up with a heavy kick. Now on the ground version, what's special here is the light kick version specifically. On the ground, as long as your foe's ground when you start, you can actually get a bit of a follow-up. So you see here, you can go right into stand fierce punch. And from there, do whatever. For the heavy kick version, not so much, because it lifts them up a lot higher. Now this move is there, okay. When it comes to combos, you're almost always going to be universally doing the heavy kick version, as it just holds the foe in place much better. And they both have a follow-up as well. Heavy kick again, and this time it's a ground bounce. One note here, if you tiger knee, which is just doing the motion hitting up forward at the end, the light kick version, you get this like weird little floaty motion. It's a bit of a timing thing here. You see here I'm dropping it now. But there you go. Just a neat little trick. There's nothing critical to know, but just fun little ditty. For Kikosho and her fireball, unfortunately it's nothing special in this game. It's quarter circle fired and one of the 2 punch buttons. Light punch version here can manage to go most the screen. Not full screen. It'll be full screen to your opponent if your opponent doesn't move. But you see here it will dissipate. Heavy punch version doesn't even go that far. The one thing I'll give it is it actually does a fair chunk of damage for fireball. It does 1,000 points, which is more than most. And if you can get like really close, I guess you can be a little annoying with that, but Marvel being Marvel is very easily jumpable, like it's not a big deal. But yeah, so kinda nothing to write home about, but I guess I have to include it because classic move. In this game, spinning bird kick is quarter circle back and one of the 2 kick buttons. So light kick version, quite short, and heavy kick version goes a bit further. And they are both air okay. Now this move has a follow-up just like lightning legs. Just hit fierce kick and you'll get a wall bounce. This is the same for both aerial and grounded versions. So when it comes down to it is basically the aerial version is probably the best if you want Chun-li to do the combo herself. And she can easily finish up from that into an aerial super. And if you're looking for good tag out combos, well, look no further than fierce kick, spinning bird kick, because your partner has a lot of time to do whatever they need to do while they're waiting for the bird kick to end. So it's definitely great to tag out and let your partner do whatever they need to do. Now, Chun-li does have a charge mechanic. So if I walk backwards for a little bit, you can see her hands start glowing. And if I crouch for a little bit, you can see her legs start glowing. And if I were just to down back, they will both glow. So what this means is whenever the appropriate charge is hands or legs, you have a special move out of that. So hands, you just hold your back and then hit forward punch, and she'll do basically an equivalent of an EX fireball. So this EX fireball is a knockdown that is OTG okay, so we can definitely get a follow-up off that. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to do it and then dash forward and follow it up. And see there, you can get a full combo. It's in fact one of our most important combo extension moves. Now the EX bird kick, despite the name, because if you played Street Fighter 4, play Street Fighter 5, this move is not invincible, unfortunately. But you can definitely get follow-ups after it too. So some combos you can, depending on your spacing, you can go something like sweep, EX bird kick, and follow up into EX fireball. That specifically is very spacing specific. You'd have to have a combo with that in mind. But just like the EX fireball, it's also a good combo extender. And her rising kick, I traditionally always called this move the rising kick, although it's Tensho Kyaku. Down, down, and either the two kicks. The kick depends on the distance traveled. This move is not invincible, so like, you know, you're not going to guarantee to beat people, but it actually has a very good hitbox. So if you have a very obvious jump in, you know, you can go right forward and you'll probably connect. And this move also is special cancelable, or rather super cancelable, so you can go right into the air super. One of its best uses is just to fish. You can just kind of toss this out, and people try to challenge you in the air. They're probably going to lose, because like I mentioned, this move actually has a really good hitbox. So if they jump up to meet it there, you can see there, like even kind of the ends of her feet have active hitbox. So they're going to suck them in the vortex, and as long as you have a bar, you can go right for it. And finally, her supers. So she has 4 supers. First up, let's just mention the aerial super. So on top of, you know, being a good combo ender, this move is also OTG okay if you want to do it or stay earlier in the combo to tag out to your partner. And I did mention here earlier about fishing for the rising kick. So if you get a hit, get the super, you can definitely tag in your partner and get a full combo from there. And for grounding supers, she does have her traditional lightning leg super, and this move is invincible startup. So you can definitely, like, just like Street Fighter 4, just like Street Fighter 2, just like Street Fighter 5, just any Street Fighter Chun-Li was in, honestly. You can just kind of fish, and if you see a startup move, as long as they're on the ground, and or even at least not too far up into the air, you can definitely react. The only thing I would suggest don't go for is good old Reality Stone, because yeah, it'll hit, and then your Reality Stone's going to track back and hit you in the head. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. You do get full combo off it, so you'll get a solid near 6k, and probably over 6k if you optimize it a bit more. So you can get like something like this. I dropped it at the end because I always do in these videos, but there you go, you get the idea. Next up, kikosho. Now this move, the hitbox is as big as it looks. So this dominates a giant portion of the screen, and is actually a really good part of her mix-up game, which I'll go into a bit later in the video. But suffice to say, once you do this, that whole part of the screen is a big no-fly zone. And the level 3 is nothing too much to write home about. It's got alright-ish range. You can usually connect from about roughly here. Go into the cinematic. But it's nothing real special. It's just kind of bog standard. Obviously invincible startup as always, but nothing else. Now, to speak of some of Chun-Li's unique properties. Now, you probably are already well aware, you know, any character in the game can follow up with a super jump with a launch. But she can actually jump cancel any one of her grounded Fierce moves. So, Fierce Punch, Fierce Kick, and even her Sweep. She can pretty much do it all. So that helps a lot with her combo structure. So I mentioned earlier how light kick legs, you can get a standing Fierce Punch afterwards. So with that in mind, with the jump cancels, you know, that makes a lot of combos a lot easier, right? So you can definitely start jumping and off pretty much any given Fierce button right into your offense and into your combo. And that kind of goes into the second thing, is Chun-Li is the only character in the game that can triple jump. Some characters have double jumps, but only Chun-Li can jump 3 times in the air. And for a lot of her combos, you need to use all those jumps. So that's definitely, you know, a big part of the game plan. And, you know, you can really kind of just stick around and just kind of hang in there if you want to. And also, not really listed, but she has her traditional wall jump that she's always had in all of Street Fighter. So when it comes to opening people up in this game, Chun-Li is definitely one of the best characters served for being able to do that. She's definitely a can opener, and it's all on the building block of her instant air dash kick. You can instant air dash with all the other buttons, sure, but stuff like I'm doing Fierce Punch here, and you see, unless I get a bit of height, it's just it's too slow to come out and it won't touch the ground, and then the move is over. You can do the aerial kick much lower to the ground than you can do the aerial punch or aerial kick or any other fierce punch, so that kick is definitely the way to go. So that kick's an overhead, and generally the combo structure I prefer, you can go right into a low, and the natural combo for me like includes even more instant overheads, like as part of the combo. So we go this, and we keep going. So if the opponent's blocking without push blocking correctly, they got to go block high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, until you finally get that sneak that hit in and you start your combo. So they obviously got a push block, and now let's just show what happens in that push block situation. So we'll set our guard here, push block on, and now so we get push blocked, right? Now one thing about push block is it's not really dissuading me from getting in. I can just go on over and over and over and over and over, and not much you can do about it. And keep in mind too, this is the bot. It's doing perfect push block, frame 1, maximum distance. Human player, they might push block later, they might not push block at all. I'm sure you've been in the situation where you push block a frame too early, you stick out a button, you get hit. That's awful frustrating. So this is how well the perfect timing bot can push block, and Chun-Li is still there. Like, I can gain ground. Like, I am not really getting pushed out at all in any significant way. The only really way out is, you can jump out and try to find a way out from there, but laterally, like horizontally, not much you can do. Now, to expound upon that further, so say even, we're pushed out. We do our instant overhead, pushed out, and then we can do something like this. We can just wave dash in and throw them. Chun-Li, as you can see right here, has an incredibly fast screen covering wave dash. So like look at the slide on that. Now if you're not familiar, just for whatever reason about wave dashing, it's just simply dash, hit down to cancel the dash, dash again. So when you hit dash, hit down, Chun still slides quite a bit here. You see there. And now she's dash okay, and you just keep going and going over and over. So you can wave dash in, fit in a throw, wave dash in, go low, wave dash in, and go for an instant overhead. There's all sorts of possibilities. And that's what I mean about the can opener offense. It's not a complicated offense to be sure, but it's certainly there. And now even something as simple as you do this, instant overhead, and we'll turn off that's the guard here. And see here, it's difficult to push block it on the first hit. Normally you gotta wait for a hit or two to build up before you want to push block in like a more real world situation. And we go back to the other thing of being able to head stomp cross up. So we can do this. Now if you establish that you're immediately going to go for a low afterwards, the foe is going to block low. And so here, we'll set up a crouch. And from there, you can kind of switch sides real quick and establish and if I don't botch it here, we can establish an offense from there, because we know now if they're anticipating the low right after that instant overhead, now we can establish a cross-up head stomp and start a whole another offensive maneuver from there. So once again, not complicated, but just simply the amount of pressure you can put out, it's very hard to stop. And now to speak on kikosho mix-up. So that's the super, once again, if you didn't already know. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, that hitbox it is what it looks like. It's very, very big. So one of the things Chun-Li can really do, and you do need a capable partner to maximize this. So if you have someone like, say, no overhead, or like I love Nemesis, but Nemesis probably isn't the best guy for this. But you need someone who's got a good, can open people up somewhat decently. So the whole thought process is simply this. You do whatever combo, it doesn't really matter. You end with a knockdown. You backdash, and you kikosho. That's a little high up. You normally would be a little lower to the ground, but that's kind of the basic premise. So the enemy obviously has the option to roll out. So say we're going to forward roll. Now the enemy can attempt to roll out, and if they do, they're just going to roll out back into the fireball. Like, it is to shut down rolls. So if they roll out, there's still going to be a block stun. You can call in your can opener character, go left, right, or up, down, you know, whatever you can just to get the enemy to screw up their blocking. And now one of the other situations is simply you do it in front of their face, but they're not quite there yet. They're going to be dissuaded from doing anything too crazy because, you know, you can't really jump over it so well. If you tag, you know, the other guy's just going to be tagged in front of it, so there's no real net gain for tagging. And then, with this as your guard, the can opener comes in, and, you know, he does his best to, you know, high-low the other guy to death. So, it's more a tool just to keep people in place or people scared to move. It's not too complicated setup, you know, there's no execution requirements, no crazy button presses. It's just simply do your knockdown in the corner, backdash, and it'll prevent them from rolling out. It'll prevent them, and if they didn't roll out, you know, they kind of stay in place. But either way, they got to get up and deal with it in their face. And, you know, it sort of works even mid-screen. Like, say you have no real idea what you just want to go in, you're going to hit it. And say they block, okay, well, now time for overhead, maybe dash slow. Just get them to block wrong, and at the very least, they'll take the super and maybe whatever else you can add to it. It's a pretty simple concept, and it's a very strong concept, honestly. Now, this is a quick note for people who play on stick. If you play on pad, I just highly suggest, you know, for instant air dash, just bind like LPL HP to one of your shoulder buttons so, you know, you can air dash quickly and, you know, get kicks there. For arcade stick users, obviously, you know, you can do the same thing. You just hit your LP-HP and dash from there. But I want to show you a little trick here, and it's kind of plink dashing. And not plink dashing in the old Marvel 3 sense, but just if you look at my inputs here while I'm air dashing into the kick, I'm hitting 3 separate inputs. I am not attempting to hit these even close at the same time. Since there is a ceiling for air dashing, as in a minimum height, you can't just like jump and do it as fast as possible. When I do this, I just jump and I hit HP. And if you go HP, LP real quick and flick it, you can see here it gives you the air dash. So from there, you just go for the light kick, and you get basically as low to the ground air dashes as possible. I find if I hit them at the same time and go for the light kick, adds a bit of inaccuracy because maybe sometimes I'll do it too low to the ground where I can't get the light kick out, or simply too high. But this basically, when you hit the LP from the HP LP plink, it kind of puts you at like that minimum air height anyways, and it's about as low to the ground as you can get while still having time to get that jumping light kick. And I just find it very helpful. Maybe it might not get so much mileage for you, but for me it totally works, so give it a shot. So that brings us to the conclusion of our video. In closing, I'll just say Chun-Li, she doesn't really have much of a neutral game outside of like maybe just, you know, fishing with the rising kick in the air or something like that. She's definitely no long-range specialist. You know, that fireball, it ain't so good, unfortunately. But what she is one of the game's best bulldogs. She can bulldog like crazy. If you just like going in, and, you know, just constantly trying to, you know, get people and, you know, just whatever mix-up you can force, and just seeing people crack under pressure, Chun-Li is the character for you, absolutely. She can bulldog in a way few characters can in this game. She does kind of give up on other aspects of her gameplay for it, unfortunately. But you can definitely just open people up like, you know, big old can opener, and there ain't much they can do about it because even the best defensive players against Chun-Li, unless they start getting to the air a lot, and which, once again, she can handle the air pretty good. Not many people can beat that move air to air. But yeah, unless they take the air, eventually it's human nature. You're going to screw up. You're going to get either, you know, random low, random overhead. It doesn't matter what it is, but once it happens, you know, full combo and go from there. And, you know, maybe get a setup. There's tons of options. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Marvel.